A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. I've known Dave for over 25 years. I consider him a friend, a brother, and an inspiration. In September of 2014, I walked along with almost 50 others as we watched Dave walk 5 kilometers to raise money for the Terry Fox Foundation. Dave simply was doing what I have seen him do since the day I've met him, and that is erasing the perception of impossibility and achieving greatness.
Ready?
All right, ready, sure.
Here we go.
Like every second, let's do this.
I put 10-pound plates in that bag for Kelly.
The journey continues.
Terry Fox has always been a hero of mine. I would watch the TV show, the Marathon of Hope. What really always sat well with me about Terry Fox was he pushed through his journey through excruciating pain. That every day he felt pain and challenges, but he still had that desire to do it. For no other reason to say, I did it, and to do it to help other people. In a world now where people really throw the term around superhero for extraordinary things, to me a superhero is someone that lives a normal life despite extraordinary consequences, and Terry Fox did that.
Dave took 18 months to train. I was able to visit with Dave and Alex and witness the rigorous training program that Alex and David had completed for the 18 months leading up to the walk.
First day when I met Dave, I'll admit it was a little bit intimidating because I wasn't quite sure what he was and wasn't capable of doing. But it really became sort of like a trial and error sort of experiment. And I looked at what he was capable in doing in terms of his day-to-day movements. And then I thought, okay, well, how can we add resistance to that to make him work a little bit harder? And then it just kind of evolved into a list of exercises that we do on a daily basis, or 3 times a week anyway. I think he's made quite a bit of progress from when we first started, for sure. I think both of us kind of maybe didn't really realize when we started out with this project how long 5 kilometers really is. But I definitely think that by the time September rolls around, based on the progress he's made so far, he's not going to have any problem with it. Mostly because of his mental, where he's at mentally with it. He's focused in when he's here. He's focused on his training. And he won't let it beat him, that's for sure.
Well, the walk was the next challenge. A year and a half ago, I was about 180 pounds. And the weight was more crippling to me than my cerebral palsy ever was. It was getting to a point where I didn't want to put any pair of pants that button. I went on a trip for work, and my trainer was my helper was trying to put on these size 38 pants, and he's telling me, suck it in. I'm like, dude, I am sucking it in. And when he was doing up the button, you could tell he thought it was gonna be a bullet that would shoot off in his head. So he finally got him done up, and it was just for that kind of discomfort of wearing clothing that I was just not wanting to go out. I was in the recliner all the time. I was always tired. I had more pain than I ever had, and I thought to myself then, I either had to do something about it or accept that this is what life was going to be. So I started changing the way I ate. I started working out, and then I started with a personal trainer. So I've lost 65 pounds since then, and I needed to set a new goal. Like everything in my life, I wanted to be to mean something more than just me.
Look at that! Look at this shirt! We too can give one to you guys.
Right. It's amazing.
I have almonds, Kelly, if you get hungry. Where's that white bag? You know what I'm gonna say! You've seen that face many times.
growing up, Dave's had lots of obstacles that he's had to overcome over time. I can remember starting back with his surgeries. He had a number of surgeries at a young age where his legs were operated on. And those surgeries meant that he would have to have casts from his waist down to his ankles. And if you can believe it, a broomstick in between his legs so that they would keep the legs perfectly still as well as apart. At such a young age, he went through that painful experience more than once. And I can't imagine what that felt like to be that immobile for that amount of time. And the whole goal behind the surgeries was to give Dave better mobility. Sometimes he gained a little bit, but sometimes the surgeries didn't go as planned. And that's why he had numerous surgeries throughout his young life. With his mom and dad, particularly his dad, Al, he was always one that instilled a lot of independence in Dave. His mom took great care of Dave, and Al tried to curtail a little bit of that as Dave got older because he always knew there was going to be a time where Dave needed to fend more for himself or think about how he was going to fend for himself because he always knew that Dave was going to have his own life in whatever shape and whatever place that was going to be. Al was always his dad, but at the same time, he was a bit of a life coach, but not in a choreographed way. I think it was just the way that Al led his life.
I remember growing up, we had stairs in our house, and despite me asking my dad many times to build a ramp, he never would. I would just continue to climb and struggle up the stairs. A couple of weeks before he passed away, I remember asking him why he never built that ramp for me. He said, "I'm not always going to be around here to build ramps for you, so you're going to have to learn to climb and struggle yourself." I didn't know what it meant at the time, but as I get older, I'm starting to understand what he meant by that.
I remember one day I was on the phone with Dave, just having a conversation, and he said, "Oh, I gotta let you go. Something's going on at my grandpa's place. I'll have to call you back." And 20 minutes later, he called me back and let me know that his dad had a heart attack and had passed almost instantly. It was a total shock to all of us. Just like Al was like a big, brawny, like hefty guy, like tough as nails type guy, and have him taken so quickly like that was certainly a shocker. Anyways, so I had driven down to Windsor to go to be with Dave and his family throughout the process, and the time after Al had passed. And it was really a time I had known Dave for quite a while at that point, but I really saw him really step up for his family and be the rock for his mom and his sister and everyone else throughout that week. And I don't think Dave really allowed himself to grieve until months after Al had passed. One thing that really took me when we were at the funeral was that there was a luncheon afterwards. And I remember coming out of the luncheon and we drove. And behind us must have been a lineup at least a kilometer or two behind of cars. The funeral procession for Al. Everybody who was anybody seemed to show up to it. It was a very generous outpouring of support for the family by all the people that Al had touched in his life. And looking back to the day of the walk, we started with 20 or 30 people with Dave, and those numbers grew as the kilometers kept on progressing. And I kind of like to think of that as it really reminded me of that moment
just people coming and embracing Dave like the community embrace style in his life.
I was aware before we met that he had cerebral palsy. I did not know anybody with cerebral palsy. I knew what it was, and trust me, I did a lot of research on the disease. Disability. And Dave and I spoke on the phone for probably, I would say a good 3 weeks, like every single day. And then we were supposed to go out on a date on a Saturday night, and we had been on the phone on the Friday night for just, chatting, and decided that, or it was Thursday, we decided let's go out on Friday. Why we gotta wait till Saturday? We're both free tomorrow night. Let's go do it. So at the time, Dave was living with his mom, and I had to go and pick him up, obviously, because he doesn't drive. And Dave does these little things on purpose to kind of test people. Now, I was well aware that he had the CP, but like I said, I did not expect when I saw him. What Dave does, and especially when he's living with his mom, is he had his manual chair. He did not have his power chair. And with his power chair, he's got a little more independence. So he does this on purpose. So he had his manual chair, and we are meeting for the very first time. And I had to put him in his chair, take him out of his chair. I had to push him to the car, put him in the car, take him to the restaurant. It was a bit overwhelming for me. I had a terrible reaction. Our first date was terrible. I'm not gonna lie, it was awful. And the whole day, next day, I struggled that I wasn't gonna do this. I said, I'm not gonna do this. I don't want somebody that I'm gonna have to take care of. I want somebody that's gonna take care of me. And I told him this, and I broke our date for Saturday. And I said, if it's all right with you, I think we'll just be friends. And he said, I get it. He said, but you're still living with your parents, right? Point taken. And I said, yes, I am. And he said, you know what? I got a lot of friends. So if you don't want to take this any further, I wish you the best. And then we didn't speak for probably 4 days. And it was terrible. He was already in my heart. And I struggled with not having to do this, but it was overwhelming for me, and I had an awful reaction, and I'm embarrassed to this day for having that reaction, because I was 300 pounds, and it was the same thing. That's like him not wanting to go any further with me because I was fat. It's the same thing, and my sister had to put that into perspective for me. And I sent him a very long email one day because I missed him. I didn't talk to him for 4 days, and it was like an eternity. And I sent him an email kind of trying to give him my perspective. This is where I was coming from. It was very overwhelming. And he gave me a second chance, and we've been together ever since. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary this week. So it was just having to adjust and get to see what Dave's limitations are, and Dave as a person and how he is. And I love him with all my heart.
I need my sweater off too. I did it with one eye. I've always wanted to wear a pirate patch. I just need to pull up to it. Nope, this side's fine.
Oh, sorry. I'm the right, Kelly.
I don't know, the way Kelly's been going today, I'm not sure this is a good idea.
I rest my kids.
She poked your eye out, trying to flip you over in the chair.
Oh, we're a good pair.
That's right.
I'm surprised he's
Two
trusted us.
bitches, you betcha.
I'm brave.
He's so driven for this cause that I think he's gonna fly through that course. I do. I think he's strong and he's focused, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
I'll tag Dave.
He wants to take a crack at walking you for a bit.
You can tag me too. You can tag me too. Yeah, okay, cool.
Don't trip me.
Do you want me to? Alrighty. Off you
You gotta
go.
hold the right arm.
Way to go, Dave.
When his tears started to smell.
The best is to see their faces when I was getting pushed out in a wheelchair for the guys that were next. And I'm like, damn, I walked in here.
I am not like Dave. You can double dog dare me all you want, but I gotta be ready.
See me, you double dog dare me, I'll
How much
just
do
do
we
it.
have to poke you to be ready?
Wow,
There's a limit.
that's a personal question.
He has a routine, and routine is very important to him because that's how he gets through his day-to-day life as a professional with a disability. It's very important to have that routine, and when we and so because of that, I'm in a routine. So, you know, I know that somebody's going to be here in the evening, so I get up from work and I can make it to a 5:30 class at the gym because I know that during that time Dave's going to eat dinner and jump in the shower, and then I'm going to pick him up and we're going to go back to the gym. So it's every day that happens. It is what, you know, it is what it is. It's our life. And, you know, it's really helpful that he's got such quick wit because I don't want to strangle him so much. But I never, you know, there's been times where I'll accidentally let him go if we're walking, or I'll do, because I forget. You know, it's so second nature to me that I forget that, oh, I forgot to tell him that I'm gonna let go of him because he has to stand a certain way so he doesn't fall over. And trust me, there's been times where he's fallen over because of that. And it's just, you know, he's resilient. At least he's so far. I mean, he's getting older, so we probably should be taking care, you know, watching that. But it's, yeah, it's just second nature.
I'm here at 5:30 every morning, getting him up, and he goes downstairs and he'll have breakfast and he jumps on the bike, and he'll bike for 45 minutes while I get stuff ready for work, his lunch, prepare, make sure he has his clothes ready, and then he goes in for after his bike, he'll chill for a bit. He's always, and every time he has the like chill for a bit, it's not like our normal chill, kick back and look at nothing. He's always on his email there, working like 24/7. He's the hardest worker I know by far. And then we'll shower, get ready, go to work, drive him to work, drop him off, set him up, and he's off for the day. And on Tuesdays I usually pick him up again, and I'll pick him up. He comes home. We figure out what we're doing for dinner, see if he's going to the gym or not on that day, and then he goes and bikes again for another half an hour, showers, goes to the gym again, works out for another hour with the trainer, and it's over. Next day, same thing, you know? Like, it's crazy. He has no barriers. He really has no barriers. He strives to be not just the best at work or like the best friend or the best like mentor. He just strives to be the best person ever. And it like what I take from him, he said to me, what is it? If you're not changing, you're not growing, and like you're not gonna be bettering yourself. Like you gotta want to try to be better than who you are today, like the next day. So you always strive to be the best, and like there's no one out there that strives to be better than Dave, that's for sure.
Too much. That's like stewing yourself.
Yeah, I think it's a little too much.
I turned it down. It's
There'll be
like
carrots,
101.
carrots in there.
Celery.
Exactly, carrot salad will have like
Delicious
this.
too.
You grab your upper and I grab your legs. We can walk right to the bedroom.
That's acne.
start going.
Okay. We got two. Who's going?
Who's blocking you?
Grab the right side.
Get two. You want this side? Yeah. You have a lefty.
Yeah, bud. What are your picks for today, by the way? I still gotta make my phone call.
In a half hour, you're not going to feel anything, buddy, except for pride.
He's round like one.
Can we go in the middle of the sidewalk?
They immediately spotted Dave as someone who did not bend with the flow, instead who knew what they could do to become better. And they've been struggling, with a lot of organizational issues and with software development issues because they're a huge company and they produce software that's critical to a lot of places. And what they found with David was an unflinching advocate for doing things the right way. So you got him in a meeting, you had him talking with executives, you had him working with people, and he would be the voice of honesty, truth, and reason. And his job, as he saw it, was to help bring the best approach to situations and do so with unflinching, both compassion, because he's a very caring person, but also with determination to do it the right way. And as I've watched him over the years, he has just provided clarity in an organization that's big enough that clarity is not a common denominator.
He's one of the primary movers and shakers to bring in new management and delivery practices in his company. And that sounds almost trivial in a certain way. New management delivery practices, no big deal. But actually this way of working is a big deal because it's a humongous shift from where we have been. And so David, in a lot of ways, is kind of a steward of a new way of working. And that's really, I think, his place in his organization. Agile is a more modern way of working that actually works with the complexity and the interconnectedness and the ridiculous rapid change we're all in, instead of trying to plan it all up front and pin it down. What Agile does is harness all of that churn for good. And that's a really different way of working in organizations, but it completely matches the environment we're in. And it turns out, of course, that Agile delivers results a lot faster because of that, and probably a lot better. So the thing about Dave that makes him really unique as a trainer in the Agile space is that he's a living example of how struggle makes you stronger. And for a lot of people, when they move to Agile, they really struggle. It is a totally different mindset than what they learned in school, and especially if they went and got their MBA, what they learned there. And so Dave doesn't just talk about it. He's a living example of how struggle makes you stronger and helps you move into a better version of yourself, a more full version of yourself. That's what he does that's unique.
You know what I think? I think Dave's pretty inspiring because he's got such a great sense of humor. I think it would have been easy to see that as an obstacle, but Dave never lets that get in his way. And again, he just brings such a sense of life to everything he does. And I think it's hard to kind of consider your own problems and without looking at Dave and that lifting you and being inspired.
I think he's exceeded a lot of people. I'm surprised by how many certifications he does have and the time he actually puts in after hours. He's got a tough day during the days, tough meetings all day long, and then he's at home studying and reading up on all these new articles and new methodologies and stuff. He's been busting it for years and years and years.
He and I, over the last 4 years, have formed an excellent working relationship. Not to say we agree all the time on what he's trying to do or what I'm trying to do or what we as an organization are trying to do, but I think we can work it out through smart-ass comments and or productive business efforts. I think he's a great agent for transformation and one that can enact that transformation, not just one that talks about it. So all praise to Dave and what he can bring to the organization for sure.
Dave's got a great way with people and teams. He's definitely an advocate of a leaderful organization and kind of empowering teams, and so I think that's one of his great strengths. He always knows how to get the best out of an individual or a team. I said he's very loyal. Again, I think that's a great strength at work. He's very honest. He's very hardworking. Lots of good stuff to say.
David is professionally so unbelievably on top of his area of influence and scope of influence. He's somebody who thinks critically about almost everything he does. He's somebody who doesn't take dogma and sort of the easy answer and just sort of run with it. He definitely doesn't run with it. But he's somebody rather that really thinks critically and really sort of reflects on not just the technical side, but the people side all the time. And I think that's one of the things I probably appreciate most about David. It's a constantly pushing back on the easy answer and looking for the most in some cases creative, in some cases obvious way to get from step one to step two. And I think he's that just sort of, you mix that with his personality, and you can't help but follow him because he listens. He he's very creative and in the way he approaches problems, and he just sort of creates a wave of enthusiasm behind him, and that's professionally what I appreciate the most about him.
That would be bad.
It's going to be an emotional day for both of us because I, as his wife, am going to worry about how he's feeling, like physically. Like, it's the way to put this into perspective is a 5K walk for Dave is like the Ironman challenge for most people. And his body physically is going to be tired and sore and spazzing and I think just knowing that he has the support of all of us and me right beside him, I think that's what's going to get him through. He's ready. He's focused and he's ready to go. I'm so excited to experience this with him.
We started at 9. We head jumped for half an hour. Like a little after 8, yeah. 8:20, I guess.
I've known Dave for a very long time, and he is one of the most resilient, hardworking people I've ever met in my life. Just the things that you and I take for granted. Dave has to work hard for those things, and he's an inspiration for like how he pushes himself and how he doesn't allow obstacles to get in his way. And it's funny because so many people just sweat the small things, and I think with Dave the small things he just rolls over them, like he just goes through them. because he doesn't have time for that. I've known Dave for almost 25 years now, and he's been like a brother to me. I've seen him through his ups, I've seen him through his the harder points in his life, and I've seen him struggle, just like he's seen me struggle with a lot of things. And he's an amazing friend, and I consider him a brother to me. And he's left a very lasting impression on me. And I think it's just awesome to see what he does and how he breaks through. With the recent trip, with the move to Toronto, it's been a real pleasure for me to see him kind of live his life unchained, without boundaries, and have that true independence that the TTC has given him. And it's awesome to just kind of see the little journeys that he's taking, and experiencing, being able to go to a baseball game by himself, I think are amazing. It's amazing to sit back and kind of watch him, flourish in an environment that has really paved the road for him with accessibility and to become independent.
Ask me or tell me, maybe I set unrealistic goals for myself. But you know what? It's an unrealistic world. Or so if I don't set unrealistic goals, I won't make it in this world. I like to push things in all aspects of my life. My only fear in life is not reaching those limits. As I was doing it almost seemed so surreal. Alice in Wonderland, so many people coming to support me, having all the people that I would really want to be a part of it, making their way to come see me and cheer me on. When there was those moments where I didn't think I could go anymore, the cheering, the people with me were giving me that energy, and I was feeding that energy. I didn't want to cry, but I cried when over the finish line. 13 months to marry Alex, the athletic club, giving me the means to build this. Phenomenal. My wife, who had to walk with me by my side to go over the finish line.
Lay down? Yeah. Excuse me. Man, you're the man!
A 5K walk for Dave is like the Ironman challenge for most people. And his body physically is going to be tired and sore and spazzing and I think just knowing that he has the support of all of us and me right beside him, I think that's what's going to get him through.
No, thanks. No, thanks. You're so glad you came.
I remember we used to take turns, walk him up and down stairs at school and take him for walks around campus, but nothing at this sort of scale. He's taken that and he's gone 10 times and just worked for a whole year, and I can't believe he actually just accomplished 5K. It's amazing.
Rock the walk, man. Amazing stuff.
Still
Awesome.
speechless. First of all, his pace was unbelievable. And the support, his ability to just power through all this stuff is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Right, and as it clearly got harder for him as the walk went on, his sense of humor was still there. Christine and I were joking that we could tell he was struggling because his laugh was getting a little softer, but he was still making jokes the entire way, and as much of a struggle as it was, so it was fantastic.
He's the type of person that makes people want to do more. I don't know how else to put that. You see it and you just can't believe that you're not doing enough. You always think you got to do more. And then that's I don't know what else to say about that.
Sorry, I'm busy. It was just a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, you did great.
Go, boys!
Everybody's like asking, how do you feel? I'm like, I don't know.
Give me a sec. Let me think. Yeah.
Yeah. I probably won't be able to process all this till tomorrow.
Yeah. You were very fast. Like when we came around the corner, I'm like, where are they? Oh my gosh, we gotta get that water spot set up like now.
Yeah, he's crushing it, eh?
Oh my word. Like,
How's that?
Good.
I don't think we missed anything. Arms are okay?
So I got to do a journey. I got to raise $30,000 for Carrie Fox. I got to complete my goal with 5K. And I got to do it with the loved ones near and all around thanks to social media technology. But looking back on today, being around with so many people achieving the 5K, it feels awesome.